Hello and welcome to game 2 against terracubist. We have a kingdom here with wall. So wall automatically means you need to be a little judicious about the cards, the number of cards you put into your deck. Here's the druid boons. There's wisp on the druid, which ordinarily is very attractive, but with the wall around, I don't want that many wisps. I want a card that does a lot with a few cards in it. So what does that deck look like? Well, to me it looked like something with stables, fisherman, and some kind of plus buy. Bounty hunter is there to thin out the deck, but beyond that, I don't want any more cards. Do not want any more cards in my deck. There's no trashing. That is not entirely true. Jack trashes, but it doesn't thin the deck. So you cannot drop your deck size at all. Well, again, that's also not true because dismantle can do so if it trashes copper, but using dismantle to trash copper is not recommended in general. It's not the best use of a dismantle. Dismantle is shines a lot brighter when it is used as a gainer as opposed to a copper trasher. So you do have some choices for your terminal here. It could be a duplicate, it could be a dismantle, it could be a jack, it could be druid, storeroom. I do choose druid as my terminal of choice here, and I choose the druid because I feel the plus buy is better than the gain of the duplicate or the dismantle, and also because the other two boons on the druid I think are reasonably helpful for this kingdom or for the deck that I want to build. So one of them gains gold, which is a lot of money in one card that is useful in our wall game, and the other one lets me have 6 cards in my hand when I start the turn instead of 5. That is also helpful, especially with stables. The extra card might just be that treasure you need to unbrick your hand of stables. The 4 for both me and terracubist is bounty hunter again, just like the last game. But just like the last game, we disagree on the 3. They get silver, like game 1, I get the druid here. If I see the druid on turn 3 or 4 by itself, I will happily discard and gain a gold. The gold will help me buy my stable so much more easily. I could have bought a fisherman there. I did think about it. I chose not to because then there wouldn't really be a convenient time for me to buy a druid. And I don't really need the fisherman or the fishermen in the deck. It's just a sort of nice to have, but you need to be very, very selective because of this wall. If you could do without it, then fine. Alright, so both of us open the Bounty Hunter, Silver for terracubist, Druid for me. I don't see any of my stuff here, any of my newly bought cards here. They get up to 5 for stables. I do get a fisherman there on that 3. I think it is the best card to pick up on 3. Maybe you could make a case for silver, but I prefer the fisherman. I need to get around to my bounty hunter faster, my druid faster. Alright, so they see their bounty hunter on turn 4, terracubist. That will give them another $5 hand, I believe. Most times bounty hunter gets you up to 5. I'm not sure if they had 5 or if they only had 4, but they choose dismantle probably as their terminal of choice here. So, okay, let's see how that works out. They've chosen dismantle, I've chosen druid. I miss my druid here, but that really is not that big of a deal. Seeing the bounty hunter is much better than seeing the druid. Alright, so we get our stables too. They dismantle one of their estates for a copper and a gold. Fine. They buy another stables. Alright, here I am unable to purchase a second stables. Even if I exile the copper, I wouldn't have enough money. So I just clean up the estate and I buy another fisherman. I could have gained a wisp there, but I prefer the fisherman to the wisp because the fisherman has money on it. The wisp doesn't have money on it. It can draw. That is the only upside to the wisp. But look, I have the stables for draw. I don't need competition on that front. Okay, so I do get up to another stables here. Unfortunately, I cannot gain a gold and buy a stables here. So I just take the card from the druid, take the stables, pass it back. They have, that is my second stable, so they are ahead on the stables split 3-2. They see all three of them on turn 7, draw almost through until the end of the deck here. And I think they are going to be able to gain another pair of stables here. Because by this point, they probably have their dismantle with a gold. Yep. So that gains 1 stables, and then they are able to buy another stables. So the dismantle is doing work. That dismantle let them gain an extra stables there. And here I am able to finally get my gold and buy a stables. I don't expect to win that stable split though, because it's my opponent's turn, not mine. I only have 3 of them, and there's 2 left. But something spectacular happens. They brick. They brick, and I was absolutely stoked to see that brick, because it actually allows me the opportunity to get the last 2 stables. If the stable split went 6-4, I would have had to play this game much differently. But because the stable split went 5-5, I could start to, I could play the game differently, is what I mean. If it went 6-4, I would have to try to make the game as short as possible, go after provinces more quickly. But here with the 5 stables against their 5 stables, our decks will have similar power levels now and similar longevity, which is good for the end game. Okay. So I needed that break, honestly, to combat the dismantle gain and to combat the first player advantage. Still here, they don't see any stables, so the bricks continue. We are smiling on this side. This is very unlucky though, to not see it here. Not see any of your 5 stables in 2 shuffles. That's bad. That's reason to take your laptop and throw it out the window, that kind of thing. But they don't. Credit to them for not chucking their laptop out the window. Instead, they dismantle our silver, pick up a couple havens instead. Alright, so I do see my stables, all 5 of them, all 5 of them, and they are able to draw me through the entire deck at this point. Exile my final estate, only treasure in my deck now, gain another gold, go up to 7 here and 2 buys. So this could be another gold. I thought about it, just buying the gold straight up. Could be something like Fisherman Haven. But I choose to just take a Fisherman, I believe. I believe this is just a single Fisherman. No Haven because of wall. That's the only reason why. Haven is nice, is cute to store stables if you don't need it, or store some treasure if you don't need it, but the -1 point on that Haven is too discouraging. I choose instead to get a Fisherman. That gets my Fisherman out of exile as well. The exile card still count towards the wall, so it doesn't matter if it's on the mat or off the mat. And now I have 3 Fisherman, which is functionally like another gold if I see all 3 of them in a row. So, anyways, we pass it back there. I could always gain gold off the druid as well, right? So if I use the buy for Fisherman and the gain gold off the druid, that's a little more efficient. So finally, terracubist sees all their stables. Good for them. They use their havens here, and probably this haven has our stables in it, just to avoid any bricks in the future. Makes sense. They probably don't need the extra card draw anyway. We are a little bit ahead on the wall stuff right now, just by 1 card. Dismantle does that a little bit. They also have the havens, and I deliberately avoided the haven, so maybe that 1 point comes into play. I don't know, but I'm trying to build as lean as possible here. Bare minimum, essentials only. and Haven wasn't an essential for me. Alright, so 2 Havens for terracubist. There isn't much more building to do, honestly. We have split the stables, and we have our terminals of choice. You could look to change your terminal of choice. Terracubist, for example, could dismantle a gold, pick up a storeroom now, or druid themselves. Duplicate is interesting. I was thinking about duplicate for this whole game. This whole game. You could gain some extra duchies with the duplicate. That may give you a better position in the end game. Not sure. Terracubist chooses to trash a copper with the dismantle and they start to green, which makes sense, which is reasonable. I also want to green here. I do find all 3 fishermen. Draw all the way up to the end of the deck. Exile another copper. Bounty Hunter has been doing a lot of work for us, keeping the deck lean, keeping the deck clean. Druid here, I can gain another gold. I choose not to because I don't need it. I only have the 2 buys, right? And I believe I can get to double province without the gold. It looks like I only have 14 money here, and I would need the gold, but I don't. I don't even need this other fisherman to get to the double province, but I take it anyway, and I take our province as well, just in case I need the fisherman money. All right, so now you've seen all the decks, both the decks develop here, right? And I really feel at this point the plus buy is much better than the gain, and the gain through dismantle particularly. Dismantle has to knock a gold out your hand to gain something like the duchy, so they can gain duchy. They can go province duchy probably for a couple turns here, but I might be able to do better than that with the plus buy. I might be able to do province. I am sizing up to do it on this turn. We'll see if I find all the pieces. This looks like a good start already. But I drew exact last turn, so I may not find all the pieces, which is part of the reason why I bought the other fisherman there. Okay, so terracubist exiles their province, so they get money for that. This is the first time they've exiled. Dismantle a gold. They do gain the duchy because green time, full green time, and they buy a province. Now, can I do better than that? Well, I can already do at least as good as that with the plus buy. I showed last turn 14. I could do province duchy. And here I am able to draw all the way through the deck, exile the province for double province. Double province. We get the extra money from the bounty hunter, right? The first time we exiled, we got 3 there, 3 extra money. We won't get that next time though, so we may not be able to double province after this. Again, why I bought the other fisherman. And now there are 3 provinces left, and I know terracubist cannot double province. Their max capacity of their deck is capped at province duchy, which makes endgame calculations a lot easier for me. They, for example, cannot touch the provinces at this point, because doing that basically is a resignation. If they take 1 province, I might be able to either double province or province salt the earth or double salt the earth to finish the game. All of these options are available to me just because I have the plus buy. I do need to find my druid. I could miss it. The deck is a little bigger now, but more times than not, I'm finding that druid and finding a bunch of money with it. So the play they choose to make is the only one they have available to them. They can't touch the provinces, so they have to go after the duchies. They get double duchy here, dismantle a gold for a duchy, and then buy another duchy. But I felt very comfortable with that play. I didn't think this duchy plan would pan out for them. They are making their deck a lot more worse than mine by introducing these 2 green cards every turn like that. I mean, okay, I just did 2 myself, but they're 2 provinces, they're not 2 duchies. So even if we break up, I'll have the points advantage. They may, though, I was thinking they could dismantle Intel plus buy and then just buy one duchy and then come back around next turn, and then they could threaten double province. So I had to be ready for that as well. So I just wanted to see what they were going to do with their dismantle here, and then we could decide what to do on our turn. Our turn looks good here. That extra card from the Druid has been doing good work. We've also drawn well. You know, I've seen two stables here, two fishermen. So no complaints with my draw for this game. Alright, so there Haven sets aside a card. And yeah, here comes the double province. They get rid of another province from their deck. Just put it into the mat, into the tavern mat. Dismantles gold for duchy. And they do have enough money for another duchy, I believe. They have a silver. They have 2 gold and a silver. Yeah, there goes our second duchy. Right. Okay, so I need to be careful though. I cannot double province, and in fact, I am forced to make an interesting decision here because I don't see the whole deck. I do break up a little bit, but because I know they don't have plus buy, I could safely take that province. There's no way the game ends because they have no way to interact with the last 2 provinces. They could interact with one of them, but not the second one. So I consider just briefly here what to exile. Exiling the gold doesn't really do much. I rather exile the province. It's the same amount of money if I exile the gold, right? So I rather exile the province, clean up my deck a little bit, take the extra card from the druid, buy a province, pass it back to terracubist. And maybe next turn I will be able to do something like, well, double salt, right? It just depends on where the druid is. If I see the druid, I could definitely double salt, I feel. Especially with 4 stables in the back. So single province, completely safe for me here. That is all I take. No haven again. I don't want that -1. Estate is nonsense. With wall. So now we see here terracubist's turn, and I think they go for same play like last time. Double duchy because there's nothing better to do here for them. They probably have to hope that I stall and they are able to gain enough of the duchies so that they could then contest the province pile, but so far that hasn't been the case. My deck has been performing well. It only bricked up this last turn here where I didn't find all these stables. So we'll fast forward a little bit just to get to the end of terracubist's turn. Alright, here comes some stables. They probably set aside our stables with their haven. Alright, nope, they've played all their stables, so they probably set aside some green card or some treasure that they don't need. Let's see. This is a difficult position for them. They exile the duchy to get some extra money. Alright, there's dismantle to gain a duchy and buy a duchy. Here's the druid, and this is basically the game at this point. Double salt will do it, salt province will do it. I'm actually able to hit double province once more to take game number 2. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.